He fired her without even looking her in the eye. And that one mistake almost cost him everything. Marcus Allen was not a man who made small decisions. Every choice he made, from the companies he bought to the people he hired, was calculated, precise and final. He had built a real estate empire from nothing, starting with a single apartment building in Detroit at age 24, and by the time he was 42, his name was on skyscrapers in 5 cities. He had 600 employees, a penthouse that overlooked the entire skyline, and a personal staff of 8 people who kept his life running like a machine. But none of that prepared him for what a security camera was about to show him. Her name was Dina. She was 29 years old, quiet, and had been working as a live-in maid in Marcus's Chicago penthouse for almost 2 years. She showed up on time every single day. She never complained. She kept every room spotless, and she never once asked for anything extra. To Marcus, she was just part of the background, like the furniture or the marble floors. He barely noticed her. Until the day money went missing. It started small. First, $300 from the drawer in his home office. Then a gold watch disappeared from his bedroom dresser. Then his assistant flagged that petty cash from the household. Envelope. Nearly $800 was gone. Marcus didn't panic, but he noticed. And when you've built a billion-dollar business by paying attention to details, small things don't stay small for long. He called a private security firm and had the entire penthouse swept. New cameras were installed in every common area. And then he waited. 2 weeks later, his security team came to him with footage. They showed him a clip of Dinah walking into his office late one night. She opened the desk drawer. She reached inside. Marcus didn't watch the rest of the video. He had seen enough. He called her in the next morning. He told her she was fired, effective immediately. He told her she had 1 hour to pack her things. He slid an envelope across the table, her final paycheck, and he looked out the window the entire time he spoke to her. He never once looked at her face. Dina didn't argue. She didn't cry. She just nodded slowly, picked up the envelope, and walked out. And that should have been the end of it. But Marcus's head of security, a former detective named Roy, asked him one question that evening. He said, "Did you watch the whole clip?" Marcus said no. Roy placed a laptop on the desk and hit play. The footage started the same way. Dina walking into the office, late at night, around 2 a.m. She opened the desk drawer, but then the camera caught something that the clipped version had cut off. Dina reached into the drawer and pulled out a small piece of paper. She unfolded it carefully, read it, and then folded it back. Then she opened the drawer again and placed something inside. She stood there for a moment, very still, and then she walked out. Marcus leaned closer to the screen. Roy zoomed in. What Dina had placed back in the drawer was a small brown envelope. Roy had retrieved it that morning before coming to Marcus. He slid it across the desk. Inside was $340 in cash and a handwritten note. The note said, "I borrowed this 2 weeks ago without asking. I know that was wrong. I've been saving to pay it back. I'm sorry. I didn't know how to ask. Please don't fire Sophia." Marcus stared at the note. Then he looked at Roy. He said, "Who is Sophia?" What followed was something Marcus was not prepared for. Sophia was Dina's younger sister. She was 19 years old and had been born deaf. Their mother had died 3 years earlier, and Dina was the only family Sophia had left. For the past year, Sophia had been quietly living in the small staff room in the back of the penthouse, a room that was technically not allowed to be used for personal guests. Dina had hidden her there because Sophia had nowhere else to go, and Dina was terrified that if anyone found out, she would be fired immediately. The $300 Dina had taken was for Sophia's medication, a prescription that cost more than Dina could cover that. Month after sending part of her salary back to pay off a debt, their mother had left behind. She had written the note and been saving every spare dollar. She had to return the money before anyone noticed. The gold watch was found 2 days later inside a cleaning supply cabinet. It had fallen behind a shelf. It had never been stolen at all. Marcus sat in his office for a long time after Roy told him all of this. He was a man who prided himself on reading situations correctly, on knowing when something was wrong and acting fast. And he had read this one completely backward. He had fired a woman who had been quietly sacrificing everything, her privacy, her job security, her peace of mind, just to keep her little sister safe. A woman who had borrowed money she desperately needed and then spent weeks losing sleep trying to figure out how to give it back without saying a word, while Marcus had been sitting and bored. Meetings and signing contracts worth millions. Dina had been surviving on guilt and courage in the same building. He called her that evening. She didn't answer. He called again. She didn't answer. He drove to the address on her employee file, a small apartment on the south side, the kind of place that looks like it exhales when the day is over. He knocked on the door. A young woman answered. She looked at him with wide, cautious eyes and did not speak. Marcus realized this was Sophia. He pulled out his phone and typed, "Is your sister here? I need to talk to her." Sophia stared at the screen. Then she turned and walked inside. A minute later, Dina appeared at the door. Her face was completely unreadable. She looked like someone who had already decided that whatever came next, she was ready for it. Marcus said, "I watched the full video." Dina didn't move. He said, "I should have watched it before I made any decision." "I didn't, and I'm sorry." Those were 3 words Marcus Allen did not say often. He knew it. She knew it. The air in that hallway got very quiet. He offered her the job back. He offered her a raise, a real one, not a gesture. He told her Sophia could stay in the staff room, officially with no conditions. And he told her that if she ever needed something in an emergency, she could just ask. That was it, just ask. Dina looked at him for a long time. Then she said, "How do I know you won't do this again the next time something looks wrong?" It was the most direct thing she had ever said to him in 2 years, and it hit harder than anything else that evening. He didn't have a perfect answer. He told her the truth, that he had spent his whole life making fast decisions and that it had made him successful, and it had also made him careless with people. He told her he couldn't promise he'd never make mistakes again, but he could promise he would finish the video next time. She came back to work 3 days later. 6 months after that, Marcus quietly set up a small fund to cover medical costs for staff, members in situations they couldn't manage alone. He didn't announce it. He didn't post about it. Roy found out about it by accident and asked him why he didn't make it public. Marcus said, "Because it's not about looking good. It's about not being the reason someone has to steal." Here's the thing about this story that stays with you. Dina never asked for a headline. She never asked for recognition. She just needed a little bit of grace in a moment where everything was going wrong. And the only reason any of it came to light was because one person asked a simple question. "Did you watch the whole clip?" Most of us make decisions every single day based on the first 10 seconds of information we receive. We fire, we judge, we cut people off before the full picture is even loaded. And sometimes the full picture would have changed everything. Watch the whole clip. Every time. If this story hit you somewhere real, the next one on your screen right now is going to do the same thing. Go watch it.